Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're Hear Us Out. Welcome. How you doing, Patrick?
We certainly are. We certainly are here side. So you have to hear both of us out, folks. I'm really, really glad to be back doing this, Paul. It's been one of those longest weeks ever. So it feels like it's been 3 years since we actually sat down to do this, and apparently it's only been 7 days.
Like it's ridiculous. Sorry, I'm just having a little monitor there of our stream just so I can
Uh,
make sure that
Very
everybody
good.
can hear us. And
We can be seen and heard. We can indeed be seen and heard. And for all of you people joining us live, thank you very much. For all of you watching this in the future, thank you just as much. And all of you live or future people, like, share, subscribe, blah 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 blah. But do me a favor, hitting a like if you can, because it helps us out. Subscribe if you like what we do. Most importantly, though, comments, 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 and not just for analytics purposes. I love reading comments. We love getting feedback from you all. It's great when people are here live, commenting live. Awesome. But even if you're watching this at a later date, jump on in there. The conversation doesn't stop after the show, after the live recording ends. So, Paul, what the hell are we doing for this show?
so, which was we are doing the our topics for 2021. So all the movies that came out in 2021, we kind of picking our own little our own top 20, just to see how, the top 20, top 10. Gee,
Top
I'll
10.
be
Oh,
oh, not enough there. Um, yeah, so, which is, yeah, it's top 10 movies of 2021, which goes, so it should be fun.
yeah, and Paul, I got to say, before we jump into the first one, 2021, when you do an exercise like this, wasn't a brilliant year because I found it much easier when I was thinking back. I had a list of 30 terrible movies before I had five picks for best movies of the year. Thunder Force, I'm looking at you.
Oh,
Every time I was writing down bad ones, Pearl and Melissa McCarthy, and I think it was Octavia Spencer, got dragged into that hellhole of a movie. If you're looking for something never to watch, folks, Thunder Force, don't do it.
yeah, don't waste your time. It's very precious. Keep going, you know?
Yeah, it's one of the worst movies of last year. So, Paul, what are we going to kick it off with? This is in no particular order. It's our kind of combined list. Some of them I haven't seen, some that Paul hasn't seen. We've thrown in some of our own, but this is our general list that we rustled up together. A bit of horse trading going on. But I would love, Paul, I would love, while we're doing this, because we're not going to be looking at the comments as we're talking necessarily, we will be taking breaks and jumping over. So I'd love people to shout in whether or not they've seen it and whether they liked it or didn't on whatever we're talking about, but also your picks for last year.
Yeah, like, so we'll jump right into the talking head part. Ooh. And which is we will start with, I think we'll start with the unanimous winner of our, like, I guess the both of me and both of us kind of jointly saying that Spider-Man, the
Oh, yeah, it
No
was an
Way
easy
Home.
pick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like couldn't be better. Easy pick, nice. Which was a surprising Marvel film, as a surprising Marvel Sony film,
Mm.
really, kind of thing, coming out of left field, I guess.
And it's funny, we haven't talked about it on the channel since it came out. And I'm going to get this out of the way really, really quickly. I was looking forward to this film more than possibly any film I've been looking forward to in a very, very long time. I had a horrendous day, had all sorts of things go wrong, had a horrendous cinema experience, basically wanted to forget everything. And through all of that, the film was still good enough for me to be able to say, when we were talking about the best films of 2021, it was like, oh yeah, well, Spider-Man has to be on the list. I'm very much looking forward to watching it again at
Hmm.
home and trying to pretend like it's my first time ever seeing it. But it was artfully done, and the again, we're going to do a no spoilers thing for most of this stuff. So even when we do synopsis or things like that, we're not going to give the whole film away. But I think everybody at this stage knows more than one Spider-Man showed up, and actually I've just looked over, that's on
Yeah,
screen,
yeah,
because the world knows that. The way they did it was, oh, chef's kiss, très magnifique.
yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree more. Like, it was just a fantastic way of doing this show, or this movie, is to bring all of the Spider-Man together, and it's also now triggered off a make an Andrew Garfield third film, Spider-Man now tag on YouTube or on Twitter and most other kind of things. pop culture. We're not going to spoil any of the plot or anything like that. So I'm fairly sure that everybody knows that the three Spider-Men are in it, so it's not really big spoiler.
Yeah.
But which goes, it's a fantastic film. Like as I said, we're not going to go into any plot or anything like that, but it has started the tag trending. Make Andrew Garfield's third film. It's also weirdly started another tag going on about create the fourth Tony Maguire film.
Yeah, well, people don't necessarily know what's good for them, in my opinion, in that respect. Yes, this was a great film. And, we'll have to stick to our list and maybe put this one aside. But just to touch on that, you know why you don't necessarily want to go back to the well just when you're excited? Because that's when you drink too much. Never go to the bar when you're already tipsy. Let somebody else maybe pace your drinking at that point. I would say the same thing for people who are like, let's have all of everything now that we're excited about this and in love with it again. Because the only thing you stand to do is small percentage chance it goes well, huge percentage chance it disappoints. So tread carefully is what I would say. Careful, if you get what you wish for, you might regret your wish.
Yeah, well, we could go into it quite a lot, so we'll move on.
Another show altogether, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Which is there a pick that you want to go for?
No. Keep hitting with the easy ones, if you know what I mean.
Let's we'll go for Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Well, I think I'll probably take the talking about this one first, since I practically wrote a love letter to it on a recent show. I think everybody knows I like this movie, and I've already said why I think it's great. But you know what? Both myself and Paul, you liked it too. Obviously, it had huge personal significance for me. It's, Ghostbusters is part of my life, all that good stuff. But McKenna Grace, the young actress, I think if we're going to anytime we talk about the film now, because we don't want to spoil any plot points, trust us, if you haven't seen Ghostbusters Afterlife and you think it's just going to be a hokey remake, it's not. If you think it's going to be nothing but references to the previous movies, it's not. You're going to watch a movie that has its own story. It does respectfully nod to the films that came before, and it has McKenna Grace as the young actress who's kind of leading the movie. She shares a lot with others, and she is just fantastic. So if you haven't seen it, and even if you're not into Ghostbusters, see it for an amazing performance from an amazing young actress.
I can't really add anything else there, Patrick.
Sorry,
really taken everything.
I ate all that one up.
No, I can't say as much. McKenna, it was so good. Her portrayal of her character and stuff like that. It really kind of knitted so much together. Just her character, which was, and then just the kind of way that they worked with it. We have a video last week, which is as Patrick said, a love letter on it. It also tells you why this film succeeded in kind of recapturing the nostalgia and everything. So go watch that. I think, but it is an absolute fantastic film, and definitely deserves to be on everybody's top 10 list of 2021. I think.
I hope so. So, Paul, I'm going to suggest that we go for Dune next, because then you can say lots, and I can follow in behind.
So we got Dune this year, which was fantastic. I think it's the kickoff of a new sci-fi kind of like epic series, like Star Wars and Star Trek. I think Dune is going to be the third one in that grouping, which goes Denis I never have that name right. Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, I got it wrong. Got it wrong way around. But he is becoming one of my favorite sci-fi directors. He can do no wrong of like sci-fi movies, it turns out. So I really would like to see him take on an Aliens film. That's how good I think he'll take it.
That is high. That is very high praise.
But let's see what part 2 entails and see if it actually gets onto our 2023 top 10 list.
Yeah, if all scheduling looks likely the way it's going to go, it'll be looking back at 2023 for part 2. Paul, I have only one question to ask. Everybody knows Dune, much like Ghostbusters Afterlife. We probably don't have to go into too much more. I'm giving it a thumbs up as well. But what I will ask, because Paul, you were waiting for this film for a long time, as I was with Ghostbusters Afterlife. So these two films, it's good that we did them back to back. One's very much you, the other one's very much me. We both came out happy.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that Benicio del Toro might be kicked out of bed for Denis Villeneuve or Denis Villeneuve
Oh,
in your house now?
see, this is the
Like,
thing. No, see, this is the
are
thing.
you cheating on your director crush?
See, Del Toro is my monster like horror kind of like crush, which he will feature later on as well, which is in this show, which is and also possibly in another one, but yeah. Oh no, I should say he's definitely if like I'll crowbar him in as much as possible. But yeah, no, he
Yeah,
is Del Toro is a fantastic monster movie guy, which is Denis is just a fantastic, which good sci-fi. Like I'm loving
yeah.
the fact that I'm now getting directors in which I love the genre that they're working in. Can't wait to find someone
And
else.
it also means where they can cross genre too, and spread their wings and their talent, as in the better they do in genre, the more likely studios are to give them money to do other things that they may be interested in, and we all win if they get it right. So Paul, these are in no particular order, so what's the fourth one that we'll pull? Do you want to do the
Um,
one that people might say it's not a movie, it's more of a special?
yes, yes, I will agree with that one. Yeah. So go ahead.
Bo Burnham's Inside. So after this one, we'll turn to the comments because I'm sure there's a lot of people going, "That's not a movie."
Yeah.
Paul, we don't have to justify ourselves because we're the dum dums doing this right now. But if we had to justify ourselves as to why Bo Burnham's Inside is a movie as opposed to just a stand-up special, it is a creative work. It has a certain narrative to it, and it is for the purposes of entertainment. And as I always say, real good movies are stories that are trying to emotionally capture you. And I think if I had to sum up Bo Burnham's Inside, I think it's emotional, it's visual from a visual arts point of view. It is brilliant. Some of what he does is incredible, and it's pure raw genius. Um, I think it is a standout from last year in any format that you want to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's like I guess I was on the fence of because I didn't have it on my list when we came together simply because I thought it was a
You
comedy
had it in your
special.
honorable mentions, and I got it
Yeah.
promoted into the list.
Oh
So
yeah. No.
thank you,
Like
Paul, for that.
no. Like I was like the only reason I held back was just like I was conflicted about it, but it's such a piece of art and such a like personal thing as well. It was like I watched it and I watched a trailer of something else, and because I was like so probably emotionally like compromised from like just seeing this person over a year working on something that like was slowly eating into their mental like into the metallic like sorry into their like mental health a little bit. I
Yeah,
watched something else and then I was just like like immediately like it was I don't even know what it was, but it immediately just impacted me a little bit harder just because I watched someone slowly go insane in a room making like
yeah,
an amazing art.
and managing to keep an entertaining edge to it with Marxist undertones. Like Bo Burnham's a genius. You know that I'm a fan of his anyway, and it's even if he wasn't a Bo Burnham, this is one of those things that if you didn't see it last year, if you had reservations, do it. That's part of the reason why we're doing this list. I know everybody's like, surely your top 10 of the year comes out in December. No, we're doing it now because this is a good time for people to remember or be reminded of what they might have skipped last year and go back and see it. So we're trying to be a bit more useful than we are SEO search friendly. So I'm calling Bo Burnham one of those things that we can't give away a plot, but there actually is one. Watch it and you will see. There's a journey, and it is all tied together. It's not Robert Altman shortcuts, but it is sectional and it is in its own way. But there's definitely a holistic message to it all.
Yeah.
So, Paul, they're the easy ones. Now we get into the ones that either you haven't seen or I haven't seen, or etc. etc. So, you go for one.
So are we gonna go down to the comments?
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna drag all you lovely people over into my eyeline here.
Which goes so let's go to the top. Which goes Hey everybody, we can hear you. Yep, thanks very much.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I wasn't in the cinema in 2021. Brew, come on, Scream was out. Like, you're a horror man. Get out and watch some horror. So was
Yeah,
Antlers.
it's well, hey, some of these movies didn't even go to cinema,
No,
so we're not keeping it only inside the brick walls.
no. There's like Bo Burnham didn't get into this, just released on Netflix. So, which is, pop culture still hasn't seen Spider Man. You should. Which is, hey Lisa, how's it going? Most of this is just about Spider Man. I'll be
I'm
honest.
I'm sensing that I'm uh pop culture like you, and again, Dune was on your list, not on mine originally. It was, again, myself and Paul. That's the interesting thing between us. There was, once we got to the point of having to add things in, like whether or not Boardroom counts or whether or not, this one over that one, etc., etc. It's great because we know that it's the same for everybody else, and that's why throwing these things out. I'm dying to hear somebody bring up something that we've completely missed, and we'll both probably go, "Oh, that would have been on both of our lists." I'm fully expecting for us to have forgotten the best film of last year.
Oh,
It's just the way of it.
I
So,
think we'll.
Dune is my second favorite of the year. Says pop culture, such a great film. I'll be seeing Ghostbusters on the small screen. Brew, it's a shame, but it won't hurt. It's a shame that you don't get the cinema experience. But I think you will be into it.
Which goes, pop culture also says, "Don't jinx with the statements. He can do no
You can
wrong."
do no wrong.
I'm like he's done really well. I loved Arrival. Wasn't a fan of Dune. I'm gonna have a conversation with you later on. Which goes, Arrival was superb. Yeah. No, I said Gelmo. Um,
Oh, I might have. That might have been me.
Inside was really good, and it was a movie done differently. Yeah, I definitely
Thank you, Brew.
definitely agree there. Oh, pop culture hasn't heard of Bo Burnham's Inside, so he's gonna add it to the list. Fantastic.
Get onto it, my friend. I think you'll find it a harrowing journey in its own way, but a journey worth taking.
Which is don't top 10 list in December. A lot of movies of 2021 still not out, so I love it in 20. Yeah. That's the thing we wanted to do. We wanted to give everybody a little bit of time. Um,
Here we have one. Petit Maman is a 2021 movie, and I really, really loved it. Okay, good. You see, I'm going to be writing a list from the comments after, folks, for my watching to see what I've missed. So thank you very much, Lisa. Petit Maman. And what else? Most of the movies I watched in 2021 were not released in 2021. That's very true for me as well, Paul. I don't know about for you. I spent some of my time catching up on things that I had intended on watching over the years.
that's the way it is. You make that backlog list, and you know it just slowly like delves together. There's several films that I had on my list to watch. I thought they were 2021 films. No, they're 2020, and I was just like, oh, I can't mention it here now. Like in my
Yeah,
honorable mentions and stuff like that. Even though I know I've watched it in 2021, but oh well.
I had some of that as well. I'll be honest. There was and anything that was December 2020, I was shouting at, going, "Oh, you could have got into it." Anyway, Paul, pick from your quiver there.
Well, we'll do a quick one. I know this is one that Patrick hasn't seen, but yes, but which is it is closely linked to Bo Burnham's Inside, and that is Tick Tick Boom, um, the Andrew Garfield film, which it spoke to me as a content creator, kind of a lot. It's about a musician, which is and going through difficult times. I won't go through too much of it. We're kind of trying to keep as many spoilers like as possible. But it's a fantastic as a content creator myself. Yeah, it is a great kind of like watch. And it was a film that I watched Tick Tick Boom before I watched Bobo and Irma's Inside, and like could not get both of them stuck out of my head because there's like one of them is definitely a story, a plot, like traditional movie,
Oh,
and then Bo Burnham's Inside is more personal kind of stuff, but it links so well.
how long have I been missing Tick Tick Boom? Because like I'm planning on watching it at the weekend. But how long has it been out? It's only been out a month or two, right? I think
Yeah, well, it's
it
been out.
was
It's been out since
towards.
November,
Okay, so it was towards the end of
late
last year.
late November.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm like, as I say, plan is to watch it at the weekend. I don't know how it kind of, I heard about it and didn't know when it was going to be released, but I think when I heard about it, it had already been released. So it was a bit of a marketing misstep because it's something that I'm very interested in from looking at the trailer. It's something I'm very interested in because you've obviously nominated and picked it. If I had to ask you one question, because I don't want to grill you about the movie and you have to avoid plot and stuff, but one of the reasons you would recommend it obviously is because it's like you say, from a struggle of content creation. How does Andrew Garfield and the whole musical aspect work? Is he up to the task?
I liked him
Great,
in it and stuff. Like
great.
I haven't looked into like how much kind of like alterations they did for the performances and stuff like that. But like I really enjoyed the movie as a whole kind of like piece. Like
Hmm.
and didn't feel like Andrew Garfield was really kind of taken out of that kind of thing.
Great. Well, fair play to him. I'm very much looking forward to watching it. So, Paul, you've got the controls. What next?
Well, what do you feel like? Let's go.
Surprise me.
Oh, let's go for small engine repair.
Small engine repair. The film on this list that is least likely to have been seen by people. So it's not going to be helping our SEO in any way. But that's why I have to mention it. Um, this is one of those things where I was lucky enough to hear John Bernthal, who's in it, give an interview talking about this, this project, this passion project of his. I went, checked out the trailer. I thought, interesting. Then said, right, it's a small movie. I like supporting small movies, even if they are backed by bigger people. Like he's a pretty well known guy at this stage.
Yeah.
I had to find it on YouTube to rent, and I'm very glad that I rented it on YouTube. It is well worth the couple of bucks that it cost. It's one of those films that I think a lot of people will end up giving me grief for saying it's a good film because they'll be like, oh no, it's full of. And again, I'm not going to give away the whole plot, but let's just say three friends have some issues. There's a little bit of, essentially there's a lot of toxic masculinity, let's say.
Okay.
A lot, like a lot. And people who are maybe not ready to watch a film and be brought on a whole journey will be just turned off by that. And I get that. But that's not what this film is. It's not deifying any of these people or saying any of them are heroes. But it does layer character onto each of them enough and into their relationship and into the story that they're surrounded by. And along the way, and this is going to be very hard to talk about without giving away stuff that happens in the movie, it mixes in a huge amount of social commentary and tension bordering on horror in one or two places. So
Okay.
yeah, John Polano, he wrote and directed a stage play. So this is based on his stage play.
Okay.
He's also the guy that wrote and directed the movie, and he's one of the stars. I really love small movies like this where you get to see somebody's directorial debut and it's this good, because
Okay.
this isn't just good now. I can't wait to see what he does next. If this
Sure.
is what you can pull out of the bag first time round, I'm interested.
But that's the other thing that we want to talk about. Like our top 10 movies might not be traditionally seen as the best movies of 2010, but they've
Yeah, this isn't
spoken.
best picture Oscar stuff.
Yeah, like it's we've chosen these for many reasons. Kind of thing that they could be something completely new, that they're trying stuff. Like that. Like that's the level of kind of top 10 movies that we also want to do. We didn't want to just do, yeah, as Patrick said, like Oscars best picture kind of thing, because
Yeah,
otherwise everybody will be just like, oh yeah, it's you'll be able to knock them off out, like
yeah,
sleep kind of thing.
exactly.
Which was
So, Paul, on this one, just like, what do you? It sounds like a weird thing because small engine repair is misleading. That's, and I can spoil this for you. It's the name of a business in it.
I I
That's all.
I
It's
thought it might.
nothing to do with actual cars or any of that at all. Trust me. And I know I've duped people on the car thing before, but I pinky swear this time. I promise.
So the first time I heard it, I was just like, "Is it about? Yeah, is it about like I don't know, like a chop shop
Fixing
or like
lawnmowers.
yeah, like well, I thought it was like a chop shop kind of like because you said it was a small cast and small kind of like production. So I thought like oh, it might be a chop shop where like it's all around the kind of like chop shop kind of like thing where like some drama and stuff like that. Because like I saw the gun and stuff like that. And then you talked more about it when we were discussing the list. I was just like, okay, this is not the movie I thought it was in any kind of way. I gotta
Yeah.
go watch this now. So it's actually on my weekend watch list. So
And
which goes,
and when you watch it, weirdly, it's not going to be the movie you think you're going to get. At various points, you'll be like, "Oh, it's changed again." But it is dialogue driven, and it's very stylized. Look, maybe I just like bad people, and I think that's going to be proven as I go through the list. I'm not looking for movies to have a hero necessarily, um,
get
and
that.
this again fits that bill.
I get that. I get that kind of like every now and again you just want a film that's just full of bad people and just which goes just see how they interact with each other and they just prove that they're just terrible people. Which is
Yeah.
kind of where I like the Punisher. He's not a good guy, but
Nope.
it's just reminding me because he's. But
Bernthal, yeah. And by
yeah,
the way, Bernthal is fantastic in this. But that kind of goes without saying.
true enough. Which goes, I'm gonna knock out another one of yours. Which goes, it's going to be the harder they fall.
Oh, Brew, I hope you have your headphones or your volume turned up because this is one, if you haven't seen it. For anybody out there that knows one of our regular listeners, Brew, he is our musical doyen. He knows all things music. This is one of those movies. Everybody looks at it and goes, "Oh, Western. Oh, it's a black Western. That's what this is." No, 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 no. This is a new, lovely, interesting take on a Western, and it's not a gimmick. It's Paul, when you're watching a movie and the score, the soundtrack, cinematography, edit, all perfectly blend seamlessly, like they were one creative vision.
Yeah,
This is one of those movies.
but
And when you look at the credits, you can see why. James Samuel, the guy behind it, he did the music because he is a musician, and he's a history of film music, but also he's got his own kind of music thing going. The Bullets, I think, is what he's called when not doing this,
okay.
in a kind of a Childish Gambino sort of way. Um, but it is so wonderfully exciting, so together, so beautifully with colorful visuals, perfect sound. It really does move to its own rhythm, and quite literally, I mean, its own rhythm. And it's a really enjoyable experience because of that. It's one of those films that you haven't seen many like it. You've maybe seen films try and do sections like this, or it makes me think of like an Edgar Wright, where people like the style. Well,
Yeah,
imagine a different type of Edgar Wright or a different type of Tarantino. That's what this is. I found it incredibly enjoyable. And dear God, the cast. The cast is just like, it's off the charts. There isn't anybody in this who's bad.
okay.
Like, actually, maybe the only one who doesn't have that much to do other than be what you will expect him to be is Idris Elba. So if you're picking him as the weak point, you're like,
Yeah, that's a fair tall order going on where like Alba's like the weakest link in a great cast kind of thing. So because I really like him in a lot of his. I
yeah.
liked him in this Shaw and what's that
Oh,
last
Hobbs
one?
and Shaw.
Yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoyed him in that. He just seemed like he was having a lot of fun. So can't hate him for that, you
I,
know.
Similarly here, everybody does seem like they're having fun making this movie. And also, one last note, uh, well, this is going to be difficult to say. It's not a true story, but many of the characters in it have a basis in reality. So a lot of these people existed. This may not have been the story that they were part of.
Okay.
So it's one of those kind of a pastiche of little parts of historical accuracy,
Oh, okay.
but wholly inaccurate at the same time. Watch it, enjoy it. People who've probably disliked this movie weren't ready for. They were like, "This isn't a very good Western." No, you're right, because it's not just your traditional Western. Or people who are expecting it to be modern, Funko Pop style movie making. It's not that either, because it's got enough Western in it. Just go and enjoy. Go and enjoy, everybody.
Now you've been told. Don't leave right
Exactly.
now to go see it. Wait a little bit longer so we can finish the list before you go
Do you
and
know what?
jump onto it.
Pause us and come back in about two. It was,
Oh,
I will say, it was probably 15 minutes too long. There you
okay.
go. A criticism. Yay.
If you're watching the VOD, yeah, pause us, go watch it, come back and comment down below. Live, don't go anywhere. Don't
Yeah,
go
we need
anywhere
your comments.
a little bit longer. Which goes, which goes, I'm going to jump onto Finch, which is I know a film that you haven't watched yet, but you're really wanting to.
I really want to.
Which goes, I will say that the only downside to this movie, and I'm going to get it out of the way, it's on Apple TV. It's like the one, like, now the lucky thing is that I got Finch, I got Apple TV because of Finch and The Foundation, which goes, and gonna time that person out or get remove them.
Yeah, we can clean it up after. Everybody ignore spam bot comments. God darn it. Well, Paul, tell me the truth, because the reason I haven't seen it is that it's on Apple TV, as you point out, because I really want to see it.
Yes.
I watched the trailer. I was almost crying by the end of the trailer because my brain was making up the film in between. And I know when I watch it, it's one of those ones that's going to go right in, up through the chest cavity, and just squeeze at my heart until I admit a tear.
I think that there was probably the first 20 minutes of the movie where I wasn't upset. Sorry, not upset. Emotionally compromised.
And is it safe enough to give the synopsis to people that this is, Tom Hanks? Actually, the poster gives it away.
It's a simple
end of the world.
Yeah.
Dog, Tom Hanks, robot.
Yeah, it's as simple as amazing engineer, which just creates a robot and has a dog, and they need to travel from one place to the other. That's it. That's the only thing that they talk about. I don't need it doesn't need to be mentioned anymore, deeper of the plot or anything. But yeah, it was literally just a which goes it's an absolute heart wrencher from pretty much 20 minutes on, I think, and it's just which goes an amazing film, and it made me glad to get Apple TV alongside Foundation kind of thing. But there's I haven't really seen anything else that I really want to watch on it.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'll be in it for Ted Lasso, but I'm going to wait another few months, because I know there'll be more there. I've got the reason I haven't seen Finch is because I'm holding off. How cheap is this? I've got too many streaming services, so I'm trying to work out which one I'll drop to pick up Apple TV at the end of Q1, as we say in business, so probably end of March. I know I can't get. Don't ever let me say that out loud again.
Just picked up Funimation. Well,
you picked up
Funimation. It's like
Funimation.
It's the anime, like another anime streaming service. That's what I've also picked up now because I'm completely dropping my TV package. Completely dropping it.
Oh, very good.
Going to go all straight, which goes. So I think flip a coin, me or you, for the next one.
I would say you.
Okay. So which is the next one that I'm watching, or the next one that we'll bring up is No Man's Land. It was a fantastic film. I'm not saying more than that. It is a simple premise. It's just like a person who decides to go and live as a nomad. There's a whole culture and society about this. It's fantastic. Which is simple movie, which goes sorry, my brain has completely stopped working on the.
Oh, you're trying to remember the lead actress?
Yes. The French Francis. No, that's not
Frances McDormand. Yeah. Sorry, I could have said it if I hadn't actually said lead actress to you, because I was going to say, you talking about Frances McDormand, and her voice or her name left me.
She is absolutely fantastic in this film. I cannot after watching this, I couldn't visualize anyone else being a better, holding up an entire movie like this by themselves practically. There's plenty of really nice which goes characters around the place, which goes and a lot of the extras and stuff like that are actually from the culture as well, which is fantastic because they wanted to bring in more of the society and stuff like that, which is I think I would love to see if there was a specials director's cut or director's commentary or a documentary just simply about the making of this film and that society kind of thing. So yeah, but it was a fantastic movie, and I watched it with my parents as well. And I watched not a lot of films with my parents, and they really enjoyed it. And it was just a surprise for me that they were just like, yeah, let's watch a film about nomads in current day America kind of thing. And at the end, they were just like, hey, that was a fantastic film. I loved it. It was, kind of thing. So it's a really nice, simple story and stuff.
Well, I'll say this much. I say this all the time in the channel. We talk about this. There are a few people that if I see them in something, I'm like, hey, I don't really need to know a whole lot more. They're always really good and they make good choices. Frances McDormand is one of those people. I think we all had that moment in '98 or whatever it was, or whenever you first see Fargo. I remember getting Fargo as it was a VHS. I think it was even still VHS, possibly rental. Watching Fargo and being like, wow, wow. And I kind of haven't stopped saying wow every time I see her since. Like Three Billboards a few years ago, it really helped Sam Rockwell get more credibility than he had, even though he always should have had the same level of cred. But everybody just expected Frances McDormand to be as amazing as she was. I think she's one of these people that she's so good. It's just taken for granted. It's like, oh yeah, Frances McDormand, you don't expect her to be bad.
I think the other really good thing is also that she, like, I know a lot of actors who've, like, not personally, but like we know a lot of actors who've gotten really big and they've started to do their own. Like Elijah Wood is starting to do a lot of his own, like, his own choice of independent movies and stuff. Which is and McDermott has just decided, like, just to do that, which is
Yeah,
just an excellent way to be in the sense of kind of
yeah.
like, I'm just going to choose the films that I think is great, that I'm really interested in, and that's it. And it's really paid off.
She made the money to pay for the house, put enough in the bank to never be literally need to be a nomad. Um, and since then, she's just been making good choices. So yeah, I massive respect to her, massive respect to that film. I think that's one of those ones that a lot of people, such as myself, held off on watching it because you're in for an emotional journey, and you can't do that on Tuesday night after a tough day at work. It's one of those ones you hope that you have a good Saturday so that you've got the emotional reserves on that Saturday night. Um, and it's definitely it's what I call not a Sunday night movie,
Okay.
because before you're heading into a tough week, half the films on our list are ones I would say are not Sunday night movies, because they're worth your attention and they're going to take an emotional toll,
Oh
which I
yeah,
think is the magic of cinema.
yeah. Like, I definitely agree with that. Like, they yeah. I would say a lot of these are kind of more feel when you feel kind of you're ready for it.
When you're ready.
You know.
Yeah, be prepared. Well, Paul, then will we the last of the 10 before we do any honorable mentions is quite literally the last. It's The Last Duel. um it is a funny one. It's a funny one for me because they won't, they say they don't make them like that anymore. Well, they don't make them like this anymore, but they won't. This was a huge box office disaster, even pandemic aside. But it also, like, I can't see studios wanting to say, here, Ridley Scott, have 100 million to direct something that's it's not Gladiator. A lot of people are expecting it to be, and it isn't. But it's also going to deal with some very difficult topics. Like, it's a mature subject matter, doesn't even cover it. So Last Duel, for anybody who doesn't know it, it's based on historical events. Weirdly, Matt Damon, Ben Affleck, and another lady whose name I can't pronounce, which is why I'm not going to even try, wrote the screenplay. Ridley Scott directed it. A bit of a visual artist there. Not an awful lot of people are brave enough to say Ridley Scott's terrible. Yes, he's made some bad choices and made some bad movies, but overall, Ridley Scott, I think he's got enough cred. This is massive. This is epic. This is all sorts of things, but at the core of it is Adam Driver, amazing performance. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, amazing performances. Jodie Comer, let's face it, everybody loves her thanks to Killing Eve. And you know what? Weirdly, in Free Guy, she didn't stand out for me at all, which I was surprised at. But again, maybe it's just me. These are bad people. This is a tough watch. This is it deals with things like, people as property. Again, I'm not giving away the story any more than the trailer does to say that these two people after Jodie Comer's character is sexually assaulted. These two people go for a duel, and it's all about honor and who's telling the truth, etc. Nothing, not paying proper respect to the actual victim.
Yeah.
And as much as that's difficult to watch, that happened. That really happened. These are the things that have really happened over the years. These are the things that are in some cases really still happening. This is a film worth making. It's a film worth watching. And I think if for nothing else, those of you that are thinking, oh, I don't want to see anything where they're, oh, I heard a lot of the criticism before it came out was this is just going to be a film where two guys are the center of attention so they can fight for their honor, completely ignoring the victim. I'm like, yes, exactly. It's sickening and compelling. It's a story worth seeing. It's not a story you're necessarily going to enjoy all the aspects of, but it is well told.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver, again, he's on my list. He doesn't tend to do bad things.
Yeah, that is true. He is a very good. He's an incredible actor. So like most of the stuff he's chosen to be in is just fantastic. So yeah, I definitely agree. This is on my list. I know this is on my partner's list as well. To watch. I know it's going to be a difficult watch, so I'm kind of like choosing my moment. Kind of thing. No, I like yeah. So, I can't wait to watch this film and yeah, we'll go into. Should we go into? I don't want to cut it off or anything like that.
But no, jump. Will we go to the comments?
No, we'll go into the comments.
See what's rocking over there. Right. Where has my comment window go? Paul, you can start because I've just resized a window and the comment pane disappeared.
So a lot of people are talking about just engine repair, small engine repair. A lot of people are just talking about how they're going to add it to their list. A lot of people are saying that Brew
saying he'll watch Harder They Fall. That's important to me because Brew, the fact that you haven't seen it hurts my heart. You will love it.
A lot of people are talking about Tick Tick Boom, saying that it's a fantastic film. Pop Culture says that it's actually his favorite film of this year, which is Lin Marwell is like he's just a fantastic director. Which is Lisa enjoyed it as well. Didn't know about the songwriter Jonathan Larson. He wrote most of the music and songs in it, I think. Didn't realize that it was the music he wrote before Rent. Oh, okay. Which is like this is there's a lot of love for Tick Tick Boom.
I'm trying to catch up with where you are. So and I think I accidentally jumped ahead on you there. You know what? It's good that people are that haven't seen some of these. So things like Small Engine Repair, Tick Tick Boom, Harder They Fall. It's great that that's the purpose of this episode. We have a loyal viewership, and really, if you hate any of these after watching them, please come back and tell us. Won't change what we've said about it, but it's going to be important. It's important that we keep the conversation going. Then we have a load of spam. So Love Face is out there saying stuff. That's great. Finch is on my watch list, but I'm nervous. I'm watching nervous about watching a post-apocalyptic film at the moment. Paul, I think we can all empathize with that.
Yeah, and it's
be careful with Bo Burnham's inside. Then
that is true. Actually, yeah, that is
because it's very much now.
Yeah, like it's a commentary on being locked inside. So which is be careful of that one. Finch. I will say that the post-apocalyptic side will not be the side that will definitely tug on your heartstrings as much. So be careful of that one. No Man's Sky, like No Man Land, has got a lot of love as well. And Macbeth on Amazon TV. I know that's got I
cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, so like I probably will dive into that.
Oh, that I'm expecting that to be the film of the year. I didn't even consider trying to watch it for this list, if you know what I mean, because I thought it technically is a 2022 movie. I hope it is, because Cohen's Macbeth, that cast, there's no way that's going to be bad.
No,
I shouldn't have said
that. Lisa said that most of the cast were actually nomads for No Man Land and that she really enjoyed it. Brew agrees that Francis McDermott is one of the best actors of our time. Yes, it
Yeah.
did win some items from the Oscars. I think it was. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, it did. Sam Rockwell is never appreciated for his amazing talent. That is untrue. Sam Rockwell is an amazing actor. Cannot say it anymore. He's incredible.
And yeah, he's not appreciated enough. That's for sure. I think that's definitely Casey what you're going for there. But the one that caught my eye is Lisa is Elijah Wood. So yeah, Elijah Wood's choice of movies to produce, star in, or even just be around, I guess, reinforce the idea that we're the same person. Then you know what, Lisa, that says something good about you because Elijah Wood is an absolute legend, and I think he's going to be remembered as a legend in about 70 years' time when he's old, because he's still young too. Um, Shout out to, oh, I'm not going to say that actually because I think that might come up in a second. Uh, isn't the last Jill the one that Ridley Scott got mad about and said millennials are too busy? Yeah, yeah. I think he probably did. But you know what? I don't really care what I'm all. It's the James Brown principle. I do not like anything I know about James Brown outside his music. Um, and I try to avoid what directors say about people watching the movies. Was it Scorsese? Who was it that was saying Marvel films aren't even
Mar-
movies?
Martin Scorsese
Yeah,
said that Marvel films weren't real Marvel films. He also complained about Netflix. The I think the year before, and then
yeah.
released the film
Then
on.
made The Irishman.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I see Pig is getting called out, so this is good. Pig and In the Heights. I passed by In the Heights thinking I'll be watching West Side Story, so maybe I'll give In the Heights a go as well. Pig with our best friend Sir Nicholas Cage of it's either brilliant, weird, or terrible. And even when it's terrible, it's usually brilliant and weird in its own way. Yeah, I think Pig looks great, and I still haven't seen it. Yeah, Brew, you're with me. You want to see Pig? Pig is on my must-watch list too. Yeah, I think all of us, and in our
Yeah.
community, Paul, it's the sort of thing that pretty much us, you and I, and our listeners or viewers, uh, Pig, it screams this is going to be good.
Yeah.
Um, what else have we got here? And then we can go to the honorable mentions.
Penny
Uh,
Driver is great. Um, Macbeth is great. I dressed as Elijah Wood for Halloween. All right.
very good,
So
very good.
you aren't the same person then because you dress like them, but not. You should have just been like, I and Halloween just dress normally.
That's the cover. You see, now we have to do the whole thing. The internet's got to get on it. Have Lisa and Elijah Wood ever been in the same place? Is this Bruce Wayne Batman all over again? Damn it. Dangling it right in front of us too. We're onto you. We're onto you. Um, Thank you very much for all your comments, and thank you because there are a few good recommendations in there that I didn't know about. Pig, I did. In the Heights, again, I had bounced over, so I'm glad that it got a recommendation. And there's a few others further up, so I'll be taking my notes later. Thank you all.
Indeed, yeah. We'll be taking those and having a look at them. Um, whose honorable mentions do you want to start off with?
Uh, I'll let you choose. I chose last
I'll
time.
go. I'll go with mine because one of my films has been mentioned in the comments a little bit too much. So yeah. So my honorable mentions are the Mitchells versus the Machines. It was a fantastic romp. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite animation of this year, but definitely worth it. Like definitely worth a watch because it's just crazy ass fun. Um, couldn't get enough of it. So that was really enjoyable. Fear Street. I know it's a trilogy before anyone says it. Fear Street the trilogy. I really enjoyed it. It was a nice completed three-part story, which was good. It's not the best horror film out there, but it was a really nice thing to see this year in the sense of having a complete story, a complete trilogy. Like I will say that it's one of the best trilogies I've seen in a while, but it's because it is literally, I guess, uh, one film chopped into three pieces, kind of thing. Um, Space Sweepers, is a Korean film that came out, one of their first sci-fi movies, which was fantastic. The Korean film industry is just becoming more and more of a powerhouse. Um, which goes. I am also watching the Silent Sea, which is now on Netflix. So which is, if anyone else is there, let me know. Antlers, as I said, my
Who
boy
directed
get.
Antlers, Paul?
Oh, Del Toro gets on my list every time. Antlers is just a fantastic body horror monster movie, which is great. I can't also wait to watch this year. A little secret, little heads up. Ooh, I'm really anticipating to watch which is Murder Alley, which is another film of his that just got released, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, these three films, these three films and a trilogy are fantastic films, and if you haven't got to watch them, go watch them as well.
Paul, you know the rules. As long as it comes from you or me, because like the two of us are this channel, you make the rules. If you want to put a trilogy, if you want to put an advertisement in there as the one of the movie picks of the years, you can do it. We set our own rules. I think if you say it counts, then Fear Street counts. That's the way it goes.
It's one film chopped into three. That's all I'm gonna say.
There you go. No one's going to argue with that. And if anybody does, we can just stream. So Paul, Mitchell's versus the Machines has gotten massive amounts of love from massive amounts of people. So of all of these, as much as Del Toro, I'm sure I'm going to enjoy Antlers when I get to it, and the same for the other two. Mitchell's versus the Machines has weaseled its way towards the top of my. It's my next daytime film. You know, if I get a chance during the day to watch a movie, because I find that digital animation can work day or night, whereas some movies can't. So Mitchell's versus the Machines is on my list.
Just a fun movie, you know.
Cool. Well then, will I kick out my honorable mentions and we'll land this ship?
Go for it.
So, I care a lot. Let's just start there. I really do like films centered around bad people. I think the great thing about I Care a Lot is obviously I think Rosamund Pike can do no wrong, but she just blows the doors off this. Very quick synopsis: she's a bad person because she's making money off basically stealing old people's houses and putting them in homes. It's not exactly that, but that's it. One of the people that she does that to, and this is nothing that isn't in a trailer, is somebody who you shouldn't mess with because she's connected to more bad people. So this is bad people versus bad people, Paul. I just like bad people. But why should you watch it? There hasn't been another film like this last year. It's on Netflix. It's sitting there waiting for you. It's a really good movie. Watch it. I'll go over to Nobody then. Nobody was actually, it's probably my pick for film of the year last year almost, because I enjoyed it more than any other film. It gets compared to John Wick, I think, way too often and way too regularly and unfairly. Because this is very John Wick-esque. Yeah, it's about a guy who has a set of skills, who's pushed to a point where he has to then go and use them and kind of come out of retirement, so to speak. But this is a family man. It's a different story. And just the way it's made, it is a joy. Nobody, if you haven't seen it, see Nobody. You won't regret it. Then it's The Tender Bar. I only watched the other night, and I actually thought it was a 2022 movie, but it came out just under the wire, Paul. It's like December 20th or something. Ben Affleck's in it. Again, can't talk about it too long. This is a story worth your time. It's about it's a guy who wrote his first book as his memoir. So it's actually the story of him saying, as a child, I want to be a writer. And then the life he leads to the point where he gets to write that. And Ben Affleck plays the lovable Uncle Charlie, who tries to be a surrogate father figure in some ways. And it's a very nice film. George Clooney directed. In case anybody hasn't noticed, George Clooney is extremely talented also. George Clooney can direct. It is not the best film of last year. It's not going to be the best film of any year. Is it worth your time? More than you think. Then the other two, Snyder Cut. Being better than the thing that you're redoing is one thing, but being actually really good as a film is another. And I really enjoyed the Snyder Cut, which I can't so much say about the Whedon cut of the Justice League, or the theatrical cut. And Paul, to close it out, Quiet Place 2. I'm not going to use the F word, but all they had to do was not F it up. And the fact that they managed to do a follow-up to Quiet Place and not completely screw it up, that's why it's getting a mention from me. If you haven't seen it because you're worried it's going to tarnish the first one, luckily it doesn't.
It is surprising that they do that because yeah, there's plenty of plot points that could definitely be taken and used for a sequel, but I'm glad that they didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
So, last check of the comments, and then we close out.
yeah, I
Because
think
we
that's.
have. I saw out of the corner of my eye somebody said trilogy, so I want to see if anybody's giving you guff.
Oh, just KC. He's the only one because I said as well. So
Yes, but it's a very well written comment because it says, "But Paul, it's a trilogy." Uh, Perfect punctuation, perfect everything. Very nice.
then they gab
Mitchell's very
afterwards, ruining it.
well, yeah. The Mitchell's very funny. Glad to see a Quiet Place Part 2 on there. Ah, cool. Rosamund Pike is a great actress. Thank you. Not enough people recognize that. If you want somebody underappreciated, I think she's a good vote.
I would say that I would love to see. I would like. I think A Quiet Place would be on my list as well, but I haven't seen it yet, which is a pity because I want to. There's a cinema studio or cinema that you can rent in Dublin. I want to rent it and just bring that film because it's got to be in the
It's
cinema.
it's a good choice for it actually. The only one I disagree with on the whole list is Nobody. I did not like that movie at all. Fair play pop culture. That's what we're here for. There's somebody who I would respect and trust their taste on movies, and they have the exact opposite view to me. So pick a side. You can't go wrong. Watch it, and if you end up hating it, then pop culture was right. If you end up loving it, then I was. Um, even mentioned Stomach in the poster. Yeah, I wish they just bloody hadn't because people can't seem to get past all that. It makes me very, very sad. Brew says, thanks for the tips. Brew, it's not a tip, it's an order. Watch The Harder They Fall. You have to. If I only speak to one person through this little lens, it's Brew, watch the movie that has the perfect music for you.
That is a great. Yeah, just go watch it, man. I'm gonna watch it this weekend. So,
Cool.
which goes. So yeah, we'll finish it there, guys. Which goes. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Don't forget to message us on any of the socials. Which goes. They're all down there. Which goes. And don't forget to comment down below your top 10 list of movies that you thought were great in 2021. Which goes. Anything else, Patrick, to round up?
No, one last comment from Nora there going, great tips, guys. Now we need a video on movies to avoid. That would be the longest video in the world after last year. I'd just like to say, same as Paul, thanks for watching. I've been Patrick.
I've been Paul.
And we've been Here's Out.
See you later.
See you later. You've got the button this week.
I know, I forgot that.